Robert speaking. Oop, just put the... Yeah, hello?
How do you? Yes. Hi, Rob. I'm just sorry. It's taking me a while to get back to you. I'm just returning your call. You left a message for me yesterday regarding you've been looking at the Enjoy Life Forever book on the JW.org website.
Yes, yes, thank you. I was given some literature and they said, look at this book on your website. I'm really puzzled about a couple of things, if it's possible to help. I guess the first thing would be warfare on lesson 13, which really puzzled me a bit. Do you have the book in front of you?
I do. Yes.
Yeah, it's page 55, lesson 13, paragraph 2.
Okay.
False religion does not treat people as Jehovah does. The Bible says that false religion sins have massed together clear up to heaven. For centuries, religions have meddled in politics, supported wars, and caused or approved the death of countless numbers of people. Some religious leaders enjoy a lavish lifestyle and demand money from their followers to pay for it. These actions prove they do not even know God, yet alone have the right to represent him. The book seems to be saying, I mean, have I got this right, that if a religion is involved in politics or warfare, then it can't represent Jehovah?
Essentially, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. What puzzles me is it's quite easy to find. The Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York joined the United Nations as an NGO in 1992. Lloyd Barry, your then governing body member, signed you into membership. So I'm a bit puzzled. If you can't represent Jehovah if you're involved in politics, then why did the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York join the United Nations, which is a political organisation?
I'm not. I'm not saying that's not the case, but I'm not aware of that. I've not heard that, and I would be surprised if that was the case. But I accept you saying that. But I'm not. In all the time I've been at Jehovah's Witnesses, I've not heard that.
The United Nations. Well, it was exposed by the Guardian. The Guardian did an article in which they were rather, I'm not being rude or offensive, sir, but they called the Watchtower hypocrites in this Guardian article from 2001 because they said that the Watchtower had joined the United Nations whilst at the same time they taught the United Nations was one of the satanic beasts of the book of Revelation. In your book, Revelation, its grand climax at hand. And they accuse the Watchtower of being hypocrites. The Watchtower's never sued the Guardian for making that comment.
I'm not. Yeah, as far from my knowledge, and I'm not saying I know everything. That is definitely not the case. Yeah, that's all I can say on that.
What's definitely not the case?
The Jehovah's Witnesses are not as an organisation, are not part of the United Nations.
But the United Nations themselves issued a letter because they had thousands of inquiries following the Guardian article. And I have a copy of the letter from the United Nations saying they joined the United Nations in 1992. They applied for membership in 1991. They didn't mention Lloyd Barry, who signed the paperwork, but it was him. I found that out from another source. And the United Nations say that you joined the United Nations. They distributed thousands of copies of these letters. They've never been taken to court and sued for libel or slander or defamation.
Yeah, as I said, no, not to be disrespectful.
Yes.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm 100% sure that is not the case, and I'm not aware of any joining. I'm not even aware of the name Lloyd Barry, to be honest, either. So I can only say that isn't the case, but I respect your view and your question on that.
Do you have any evidence that that's not the case?
Well, we as I said, we go, as you read there, just there from the book, and
yes,
that being no part of things in the world, not mixed up in the world from the Bible, and that's how we lead our lives and live by that. That's all I can say on that. What others say in relation to those things, I can't get into it. Get into debates about that, but from my experience, that is not the case. But I respect other people's views on that.
Okay, thank you. On the website, I've looked at a few of the yearbooks, and the 1983 yearbook, page 97 to 98, admits that the watchtower in Australia, the Australia Bethel or head office, I think you call it Bethel, it says that it violated neutrality during the Second World War. That's an admittance in your own literature that you weren't neutral in Australia during the Second World War. It's 1983 yearbook, page 98, okay. 97, 98.
I haven't got that before me, but if you're saying, well, I can't say I haven't got that before me at the moment, but if you're saying that's what that says, then I can take that. But if that may have been the case, we're talking 80 years ago, almost sort of thing. 60, 70 years ago. So that may have been at that point that there was something at that point. But as of where we are now, that is definitely not the case.
I mean, so, you kind of hold Roman Catholics. You point out the faults of the Roman Catholic Church, which happened centuries ago, and you don't forgive them for that. You accuse them of the Spanish Inquisition, burning people at the stake. I've seen pictures of that in the literature, Jehovah's Witness literature, Catholic priests burning people alive, and the Inquisition. So you hold other religions to account for their past actions, but do you hold yourself to account for the Watchtower's own past actions?
Yes, no, very, very, very much. Yes. We never at any point claim to be perfect, or we try to. We've got the Bible there, and we try to follow what it says in the Bible there, and live our lives in accordance with that, and do things by that. By no means do we say we are perfect and putting ourselves above in other denominations, but we believe that we follow the Bible, and that's all I can say in relation to that. That's there are many things put out there about all religions, including Jehovah's Witnesses, that are false, and we leave it to others to make their decisions on those things. We don't get involved in debates about those things. We leave others to make their choices. We've made our choices, and we leave others to make their choices. And we respect the choices that they make. And we just ask that they respect the choices that we make.
Okay. You say the Watchtower is not perfect.
What I mean is, no, I'm saying we as a humans are not perfect. I'm saying that we live our lives according to what's written in the scriptures and the Bible, but we are still imperfect humans.
Right, well, that's an obvious statement because everyone is imperfect, including the head of, many different religious groups. They're imperfect also. But is the Watchtower perfect, or is the Watchtower not perfect?
When you heard the Watchtower, I mean, the Bible is the word of God.
No. I'm asking about the Watchtower. You said the Watchtower is not perfect.
No, I didn't say the Watchtower. What I'm saying is you just said that we as humans are imperfect. We try to live our lives in accord with the Bible, and put our literature in accord with what's written in the Bible, and that's what we try to do. That's all we can do. To be honest, I'm not sure where we're going with this. I respect your views and your questions, but I'm not sure where we're going with this.
Well, is the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Pennsylvania perfect?
No. As we said, no human is perfect, that sort of thing. So
it's not a human, it's a legal corporation. The Watchtower is not a human being, it's a legal corporation found in the state of Pennsylvania in 1884.
Yeah, as I said, I'm not sure where we're going with this, that sort of thing. If you want to know more about the Bible and things like that, then happy to have a discussion. But if we're getting into controversies of things and those things, I haven't really got the time to pursue that at this time. But I do appreciate your call.
Well, I appreciate you contacting me. Thank you for that. going back to your book then, Enjoy Life Forever. I mean, the thing is, if the Watchtower is not perfect, why do I need it? Why do I need an intermediary between me and God that's not perfect? You see,
you have a choice in that regard, as we all do. You have a choice in those things.
Yes.
We don't force anybody to do any of these things. They have a choice in that.
Yes.
We all have a free will.
Yes, but if the Watchtower is an intermediary between me and Jehovah, why do I need it if it's not perfect?
If it's not for you, sir, you don't need to have it. If it's not for you.
Well, it would be for me if it's perfect. But if it's not perfect, how can it be an intermediary set up by Jehovah God in 1919 if it's an intermediary that's not perfect?
I encourage you to continue to read through the literature on the jw.org if that's your choice to do that, sir.
But why do I need to read? Yes, but why do I need? But why do I need to? Sorry, go on. I interrupted you.
No, it's fine. It's I'm just we feel that the organisation, as you said, is helps us to do things in a way that Jehovah wants us to do them. So that's there in place to help us in that regard. It's as we said, it's imperfect men still, but they're doing their best to do the things as per the Bible, and that's it really.
Going back to lesson 13 on warfare, I mentioned that I found that 1983 yearbook, which admits that in Australia during the Second World War, it actually states that the Bethel and Australia violated neutrality during the Second World War, on page 97 to 98. There's also a Watchtower article I found that talks about this. It admits that, you see, the brothers in Bethel, when they went for Bethel service at the Bethel headquarters during the Second World War in Australia, not the US, not the UK, only in Australia, they were sent to work in military kitchens so the soldiers could go to the front to fight the Japanese. And it also says that they were, quote, working in machine shops producing instruments of war. That's the Watchtower, 1st of June 1947, page 173. Now, I found out that company is the Taylorcraft Aircraft Corporation. It was owned by, there were two brothers, obviously called Taylor. One of them died in an airplane crash, so the other one ran the company. I think he was a Jehovah's Witness. He certainly had a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses working for him. But during the Second World War, Taylorcraft just made military aircraft for the Australian Royal Air Force. So you had this Watchtower, 1st of June 1947, page 143. It says that young men who went for Bethel service were sent to, quote, working in machine shops producing instruments of war. Well, what they mean by that is they were sent to Taylorcraft to make military aircraft for the Australian Royal Air Force. I don't think that's neutrality. I say that with respect.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and as I said, I appreciate your view on these things. I'm not familiar with that yearbook, but I will after this call. I will have a look at it and look it up. As I said, we go through what is necessarily was done at that point. It's not necessarily be done now. As I said, we things over time they change, and we get refined over time with things. That's it, really. I think.
But you can't refine the truth, can you? You don't need to refine something that's perfect. You only need to refine something that's imperfect. Yep,
and I appreciate your view on that. And as I said, we're as imperfect individuals, we're trying to be or as closely as we can follow those things. It may be at times that we as imperfect humans don't do that sort of thing.
Yes,
but that's not a slant on what the Bible is saying in that regard. So.
But why do I need to listen to imperfect humans who claim to represent Jehovah God, and only they represent Jehovah God? If they turn out to be imperfect humans, why should I listen to them? I mean, for instance, they'll be electing the new Pope tomorrow. Well, the Pope claims he's the successor of Peter. When he sits on his throne and he speaks, it's called ex cathedra. It means he speaks infallibly for God. He's the middleman between God and us. Now, if it turns out that the Catholic Church has done bad things, say bad things to children, why do I need it? If it's quite clear that the Pope is not the successor of Peter. He has no more authority to speak for God than I do or anybody else does. If the Pope is turned out to be a fallible man who makes mistakes, and the Catholic Church has done terrible things in the past, why do I need it, you see? Why do I need the Mormon Church, which claims that it alone is the sole mediator between us and God? And you can't be a true Christian unless you join the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Why do I need to join the Seventh-day Adventist and be a Seventh-day Adventist? If they claim that anyone who meets on a Sunday is practicing the mark of the beast, is of the devil, and only the Seventh-day Adventists, plus possibly one or two other tiny little groups, are the only real Christians here on earth. And yet you look in the history of Seventh-day Adventism, and gosh, they've made a lot of mistakes in their past. Why do I need an organization that claims to speak for God, be God's sole representative on earth, and yet it has a history of error? Can you see my problem, sir?
I see that, sir. I do. I definitely see that. And as I said before, you have a choice. Nobody is forcing you to choose to follow any religion at all, and that is an individual choice for you to take in relation to that.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate sharing your views with me in that regard. But I can just encourage you to continue reading, and if you want to know more, then probably to call me again at another point.
Well, you've been so helpful. Thank you.
In that regard, so I do appreciate your call, and we encourage ones to if they don't want to follow out an organised religion, well, we encourage ones to read the Bible and then decide what they will do for themselves.
Well, thank you for being so helpful. I'm very grateful to you. What about share dividends? The Watchtower has huge investments, billions tied up in investments. And one of the income streams that the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York get, they've got it as the sole beneficiary for 80 years, is the Henrietta M. Riley Trust. You can look this up on the IRS. That's the American Tax Authorities, the Internal Revenue Service. Henrietta M. Riley Trust. I've got the accounts for a couple of years going up to about 2018, when they gave just under, I think, $700,000 to the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York. That's after bank deductions, and there might be tax payable. I think the bank is the Commercial Bank of Detroit. Well, some of these investments are share dividends from arms companies, such as Northrop Grumman, which makes the B-2 bomber, and Honeywell, which makes the HIMARS missile system. So you can see this on the American Tax Authority website. Why is the Watchtower receiving share dividends from arms companies?
I can't speak on that, sir. I'm not. Obviously, I know there's investments. Where they are, I don't know. But you're free to. There's a number on the jw.org in relation to inquiries around those things.
I phoned the service desk.
You can ring.
Yes, I phoned the service desk.
Right.
I got a non-answer from them. I mean, the Watchtower does have various fingers in various pies, and it has a large involvement with the military, not in fighting wars, but in getting money from arms companies. Henrietta M. Riley Trust is just one of these. I'm kind of a bit shocked, you see. I say this with respect.
That's fine, sir. As I said previously in the conversation, I'm not sure where we're going with this. We seem to be getting into a debate territory sort of thing, and I haven't really got time for that. So, but I respect your views on those things. I respect the research that you've done as well. That's really commendable, that you've done that research, and I thank you. But I will need to go now.
Why?
Because the conversation isn't going anywhere. As I said, and as you said, and I say as well, as I respect your views, we respect the views of all people on things, and we respect the research that you've undertook in doing that there.
But you don't respect them enough to listen to them. I mean, the Watchtower has even financed politicians. There is a Democratic politician called Vincent Hughes, who stood as a Democratic candidate, I think I've said Democratic candidate, in the Senate District 7 election for PA. Now, I think PA is the state, gosh, my American knowledge, is PA Pennsylvania? It's the state of... It's the state of PA. If you go to the website Transparency USA, you can find out that he has been financed by the Watchtower. Just give me a second. I believe it's a company called the Watchtower Property Company, which is one of they have a huge number of subsidiary companies. Yeah. Philadelphia, State, PA. Vincent Hughes was given $10,000 by the Watchtower Property Company and then $2,000 by the Watchtower Property Company. Total donations of $12,000. This is something I've been able to find out. Why is the Watchtower financing Democratic politicians?
As I said, those things I'm not aware of. As I said, I don't know everything. And I humbly accept that I don't know everything, but I choose to follow what is written in the Bible in that regard. So again,
well, not quite.
I do need to go.
Not
thank you for
not
your time.
Quite. I don't think you follow what's in the Bible. I think you follow what the Watchtower tells you is written in the Bible.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I'm going to need to go now. So I do wish you a good day, and I thank you for your time.
Well, thank you. Thank you also for your time, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, sir.